Welcome to Backbreaking News episode 131. Today we'll be reacting to Backbreaking News episode 9. So without further ado, let's speak.
Hello everyone, this is Comic Cookie 73, and today we'll be doing backbreaking news. So this is episode 9, and the topic today is what I would like to see in WWE 2K22.
This is obviously outdated.
So, and what wrestlers specifically I want in the game. I know this is a very long list, the first thing I want in there, but I want, like, the Firefly Inferno match.
No, I don't. I hate that match. Just saying.
The Boneyard match.
Essentially, I just want Inferno and Buried Alive matches back.
Guest referee. And if they...
A few things I got right was the guest referee coming back, but that was quite obvious with the new team, so...
We could do a Punjabi prison match.
The Punjabi prison would be cool to have, still, in my opinion, but obvious it doesn't happen often, so probably not going to be in the game.
For years. And maybe a hair versus hair match. And not the hair versus hair match.
The hair versus hair match I still want in the game. It would be cool, something new, added features.
Work is once you lose the match, you get your hair cut and you get to kind of play that scene out, and then what kind of happens is you start losing. You lose your hair for like the 8 time. The second time you play with them, that character that you shaved off, and once you shave them, it would stay shaved for...
Essentially, if you get your head shaved in that match, that will be the render of the character for the next 2 times you play as that character, because it got shaved.
First match you play as them and then go back. Kind of making it more fun for everyone. And more fun. I think the next thing I would like to see is I'm surprised they have never brought this back, but create a finisher move. I think they could even go one step further with this and create a signature too.
Essentially, that would be pretty cool. It would probably come back next year if I were to guess. I'm not too far off what would actually happen in the later years, but I'm still not close enough to say where I believe full credit for predicting it.
But that's just my opinion, and I feel like you should also be more able to create matches that haven't been in WWE for a while, like every match that has been deleted from WWE games, and I think you should be able to create them and put them on community creation so everyone can play them. It's like a dumpster match where the only way to win is actually throwing your opponent in the dumpster, which
What I'm talking about here is like a Mario Maker like thing for WWE match types, so you could create your own unique match types, not just limited to what the settings are in the actual game of what you could do. I say that in just a lot more words.
Which that's the only way to win, and kind of, built that stipulation, you know, like you could pick the only way to lose. You could pick an item or something, and the way to win, you select a way to win by putting your opponent in the thing, and you have multiple different choices, and you can custom everything you want to do. You can make match types that don't exist anymore. They only did once, you know. It would be cool to have more options of making matches, because I would love to make a dumpster match where you have to put that you don't have to have mods or anything for, so you could just throw your opponent in the real dumpster. They add it in the game, you add it in, and then you actually put your opponent and have to close it. You actually have to put your opponent in the dumpster to win, not just edit a win scene, you know. But I also think the next big thing I also think that also in WWE games they should make a more interesting showcase.
More interesting showcase. I don't know how they could exactly do that, but it could work.
They did WrestleMania, so I don't think they really need to do a whole Undertaker showcase, because after WrestleMania, his career is still iconic, but that's what he's most remembered for. So all they would have a list of doing is WrestleMania match. So it's not really that impressive. But I think what they should do for a showcase is actually, it's going to be a long one. Maybe the best matches from each year it's been around that they could get, you know,
So let me explain to my younger self, to the audience, what I meant. I meant like each year something new happens. So like, for example, CM Punk in 2010s, and like those matches in the 2010s to the 60s, like Bruno Sammartino and Buddy Rogers, stuff like that. Go each decade and put the best matches that you could possibly get in a showcase mode where you play through the decades.
The ones that are very good and the fans can vote for them, and then you play through the feud, which would make it longer. So like Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, there would be Pacific wrestlers you have to play through too. So it could be John Cena's greatest matches, and then you could do people from the 80s, 90s, and then all their greatest matches you would have to play through from all their feuds until the end of the feud. So I think that would be the best, because this is a big game. It's because 2K has had this series since 2012, and I think they should do something really big and a long showcase, because I want something I can play through and maybe play through again. I'm not exactly sure, but I would also like to see more lively crowds, better announcers, you know, where you can...
I just called everyone who announces in the games bad. That's not what I meant, but here as a kid, I think I still had some better ideas. This video was better than the previous, the first and the through 8. This one is probably the best in quality since then, where I actually agree with some of the ideas still.
Actually attack the announcers and in universe mode and have a feud with them. Because you could, or at least just give us Michael Cole as a wrestler this year.
No.
That's the least they could do.
That was a stupid idea.
But I feel like, as far as I think as far as another mode I would like to see would be Road to WrestleMania 2, GM mode. Because they're all fun. And also, I would also like to see Universe mode, but I would like to see stuff added to Universe mode. I would want that in the game still too, so there's more modes to play, so it never gets boring. You see, And even, I think if you're a non-wrestling fan, you should still get the game, because they'll probably have at least one wrestler you know if you stopped watching wrestling a long time ago, because it's bad. This game could turn your opinion on the wrestling game genre, so I would suggest getting it. Because I might be no scientist, but the one thing I understand, it looks good, and it won't end up looking like that creepy, glitchy game, because they're taking time.
I always talk about 2K20. Even though I had no problems with glitches in the game, I actually am the one person that enjoyed WWE 2K20. I know that's crazy to say, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I used to play it a whole bunch.
Till May 2020, March 2022 to release this game. So it better be absolutely perfect. But now, the universe things I want in universe mode is I want to have more matches on pay-per-views where you could actually edit how many matches, and there's a draft. You could pick GMs and managers.
That would still be cool to have, but I don't realize how they could do it with GM mode now. But this was before all that was announced, so I'll go give myself some credit here, and I go give myself the benefit of the doubt.
You managers of the brands. You could, you could even, if you wanted to, bring back an old title belt in a promo, is make your own custom belt, and that becomes the world championship. You know how some wrestlers make custom belts for themselves. I would like to see that as a thing you could do for a promo, that you kind of sit down and then you unveil the new world championship and throw it in the trash, and that becomes the new world championship. Or you could also get it back after winning a match if you want to. There will be settings like that. That's the type of stuff I want to see. But now, as far as wrestlers go, this is a long stretch, and I know it ain't going to happen, but I would love to see Owen Hart in this game.
I would have to bet every dollar in my house, if this ever happens, I will personally scream off top of my lungs and wake up half in the entire world. Okay. I technically got that right. He was in an AEW game, but if he comes back into a WWE game, I'll do something cool.
It is a really hard topic to talk about here because I don't know much about it, but all I know is once he fell off that thing that WWE thought was safe, he died. So, and they continued the pay-per-view. I don't want to have to explain this whole story anyway.
See, if you watched one of my previous videos of Backbreaking News, you know there's certain stuff you have to be serious about. This is one of those examples. If you talk about someone who died, you should be serious. You shouldn't try to crack jokes. If you watched the major things you should know before starting YouTube, that was one on the list.
And I think it shouldn't be up to his wife to decide if he's going to be in the game. I think it should be up to his brother.
Well, that is still a decision I agree with. Here, it should go to the immediate family, meaning brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, sons. All of them should agree. It shouldn't be up to the wife. It should be up to Bret Hart. It should be up to Stu Hart, but he's dead. It should have been up to Jim. It should have been up to the people who knew what Owen actually cared about, which was WWE. He had no affiliation with AEW, and I feel like Martha just did it out of pity for WWE. still upset about that situation, and it's awkward to mention it, but Owen Hart didn't just didn't deserve what happened to him. It just sort of happened, and it wasn't Vince's fault. So why are you still punishing the WWE fans just for something that wasn't Vince's fault? If anything, you should have sued. You should have sued the WWE production team, not Vince, the whole company itself. You should have, because that should have been safe. They practiced it. They did it before.
Sexual is, his wife is a part of his family, but I think they should, do the, the blood relationship gets to decide, because Owen would, see, I don't like talking about it that much. The next one is really stressed. Chris Benoit, do I even have to explain?
Oh no. If that ever happened, just like, if that ever happens in my lifetime, I might laugh, okay? If you don't know the Chris Benoit situation, you're like 10 years late, okay? I might make a video based on it, but Chris Benoit basically killed his entire family. Let me explain one thing. He was living in the U.S. in the time, and by U.S. law, Chris Benoit would have not been found guilty because, hear me out, because he had CTE, which affects the brain, and he had thoughts of like a 90-year-old with dementia. So basically, Chris Benoit if he was able to prove that, he would have went to a mental health institution and would have never got arrested anyway. So technically, he committed a crime but wouldn't have got arrested anyway, even in the 2000s. So if you're really looking at it, he murdered his whole family, but he wouldn't have got charged anyway if he could have proved that wrestling caused this, and Vince McMahon would have been the one who got a lot of flack for it.
Explain why that ain't gonna happen? Because I'm not. Do I even have to explain why he won't be in the game? Wrestling fans, you understand that? So it was a real shame that WWE deleted him from the whole history. And still O.J. Simpson got erased, but at least he gets remembered by the UFC.
The UFC, the NFL.
Not UFC, NFL. I still think, but I would also like to see Umaga, Hornswoggle. Oh wait, Hornswoggle probably ain't gonna happen. I would also love to see legends we haven't gotten before, like maybe every gimmick that Brutus the Barber Beefcake had in WCW, and I would also like to see more title opportunity. I would love to see a #1 contenders match in Universe Mode. But that's way past. Let's also think of another wrestler. Most of the new ones, I would love to see most of people from NXT and NXT UK. I think they should add NXT UK as a brand. But most importantly, I think that as far as legends go, too, I would love to see the Genius, Macho Man's brother, Macho 87.
I'm not sure if they're on good terms or anything, but it would still be cool to see Macho Man's brother in there, just because he's an obscure character, and I feel like some more obscure characters should be given the opportunity to appear in games.
His brother, just because I would love to see a bunch of different characters that I know WWE won't put in there. I would love to see Doink the Clown in a wrestling game for once. George the Animal Steel. You know, people like that. I would also like to see more of the new debut talent. You know, I would play this game if they have all these things. Plus, my opinion on it is that and now let's go to as far as things go with who won this, who won that. I think that 2K should also think about adding more to stats for the wrestlers, like not like if they give you an opportunity.
That's where I'm going to end it. Now here's our little talk. So the Chris Benoit thing is my opinion. Knowing U.S. law just a little bit makes me think that if this had went to court, Chris Benoit would have won. It's not like I'm doing this with zero knowledge of the U.S. court system. It's still really sad what happened, and with Owen Hart too. So, yeah. Goodbye.